My friends, welcome back to Desire Dialogues. It is your girl, sex coach Lauren. Welcome back to my regulars and my new listeners. I'm so excited to actually bring on an awesome guest today for you. All right, so when we talk about sex, we don't talk a lot about metabolism. All right, and we're going to talk today about metabolism and desire, and really how treating your body like this car and taking good care of it is going to really be helpful. So, Misty Creaghe, is that how we pronounce it, Misty?
Cray, like Cray, like the crayon without the on.
So we got Misty Cray created the 3R energy method from her own journey of repairing, regulating, and rebuilding energy as an exhausted working mom. And I'm sure many of you can definitely relate to that, right? So now she guides other women to do the same through really simple habits that support your fuel, your rhythm, your stress load, and your recovery. And I'm so excited today. Welcome, Misty.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Y'all, I just can't thank you enough for having me on your show. It's just been a quite a journey, and I know there's a lot of exhausted moms out there that they don't even know where to start,
Yeah.
and they lose that desire. That libido just drops, and they're like, "Oh my God, what has happened to me?" And it's not your fault. It is not your fault. Your body is protecting you, and your body is sending you, it's communicating with you, it's sending you a signal um that that you need to take care of you now. So I'm really excited to be here, and I can't wait to share my knowledge with you.
I know we got some really juicy topics that are going to be so helpful. I'd love to start off with my first question. And I'm sure a lot of people have it as well. It's like, all right, well, what surprised you most about metabolism and how it affects desire?
So, what really is the biggest surprise for me is realizing that it wasn't all about my hormones. Okay.
Mm.
So I was on HRT. So I was having to take progesterone and testosterone. My but I was not old enough to be in perimenopause, at least not
Ooh.
traditional perimenopause. My estrogen levels were fine. Okay. So, my hormones were off. But the thing about it is my hormones weren't operating independently. My metabolism was bad. My nervous system was crazy. So
Mm.
that affected my hormones, my sex drive. I was losing my hair. I mean, it
Wow.
was horrible, right? And so the your body is always asking you three questions. Okay. It's, do I have enough energy? Do I feel safe? And do I even have capacity for what I'm doing? So for this conversation, it's, do I have capacity for sex and pleasure right now?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, because you're overwhelmed, or you have chronic stress, or you're just inflamed, sleep deprived, underfueled, or just inconsistent in how you're taking care of yourself, desire is going to be shut down. And you kind of got to compare it to a phone battery. So
Ooh.
when your battery gets low, your phone, it lowers the brightness. The apps in the background shut down.
Hmm.
The background features shut off. We were literally talking about this with our computers a few minutes ago before we
Yeah.
started this podcast, y'all. Okay. So, you know, um, your body does the same thing, does the same thing. It goes into survival mode, and sex is one of the first things to go. And it's not because you don't love your partner. It's not because your relationship is failing. It's simply your body doesn't feel safe enough. It's not rested enough. It's not energized enough. And you just don't have the capacity for pleasure. So, and there's so much guilt and shame
Oh, yeah.
um, carried in that when your body is just trying to protect you. That's all it's trying to do. It's trying to protect you. And you end up with all this guilt and shame for it. And it's so horrible. And it's such a hard thing for women to hear. And that, you know, that no, it is not your fault. And they don't believe you. And
Right?
that's
It's
the
it's
worst
like
of it.
that myth that
Yeah.
if you don't want to do it because your body's not at capacity to
Mm-hmm.
even be able to hold that, that you don't love your partner, that you don't want your partner anymore, right? And then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I'm a bad partner, I'm a bad mom, I'm a bad sexual being, all the things, and it's just so overwhelming and it's so much blame.
Yeah. And it's just my hormones right now. Yeah. That's another myth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. So there's all those myths that come with, women when they think about libido and sex drive without taking into account their body is the car that needs to be taken care of, or the battery on your phone that needs to be charged. So,
Yeah.
Missy, can I ask what practical changes like create the biggest differences?
Okay. So really the practical changes is the first thing you have to do is stop blaming yourself.
Mm,
Okay. That's it. Exhaustion is not laziness.
mhm.
Low libido is not a moral failure by any means. And shame actually keeps women stuck. Okay. So when you start uh when you start actually helping yourself and stop treating yourself like you're a problem to solve,
Mm,
you start making um and creating better habits and better thought process. Okay. Then you
yes.
just start with it, simple habits. It's really simple habits. And so the difference between habits and doing all of this, like exercising, doing all these things, a habit is something that you can do in your sleep. Okay. There's no capacity for it. It's something that you've learned to do and it becomes part of your daily routine. So when I say I create habits, I create something in you that you don't have to think about after a while. It's not some extra work that has to be done. Okay. So, what are these simple habits? Eat balanced meals consistently. Don't skip breakfast. Prioritize your protein. Stop surviving on caffeine. Keep your blood sugar stable throughout the day. Protect your sleep. And then you want to repair your leaks in your energy pillars. Okay. So I teach that you have leaks in your energy pillars. Okay. So basically, what that means is so these areas, fuel, rhythm, stress load, recovery. Okay. Whenever you're leaking in one of those areas. That's you skipping breakfast. That's you surviving on coffee. That's sleeping 5 hours a night. That's carrying everyone's mental load, running on stress hormones, expecting your sex drive to be thriving. And you think you're going to blame menopause or perimenopause for everything, right? And of course, perimenopause is real. And I think many women in their 30s are immediate told, oh, that's perimenopause before
Yes.
anyone looks at the stress load. They don't look at their stress load. They don't look at their sleep. They don't look at their blood sugar. They don't look at their nourishment and they don't look at their metabolism as a whole. Okay. Because burnout and metabolic dysfunction can create symptoms that look very similar to menopause and perimenopause. That is your
Wow.
brain, that's your brain fog, your mood swings, your weight gain, your low libido, your
Mhm.
exhaustion, your irregular cycles, your hormones. Okay. So it affects all of those hormones as well.
Yeah.
So those are leaks that are coming from your fuel, your rhythm, your stress load, or your recovery. Your food is basically what you eat. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's what's going into your body. Your rhythm is your consistency, your sleep rhythms, your
Mhm.
eating rhythms, Are you going uh 4 hours between meals? Or are you going 4 hours, then 2 hours, then 7 hours, and then you're no, your body just has no idea where its next meal is going to come from.
Yeah, that's incredibly irregular. And that imaginably probably puts stress on the body to be like, what's happening?
Exactly, exactly. And then you have your stress load. And that's all that it's not just mental. Stress load is physical as well. Exercising, believe it or not, puts stress load on your body, and all of your work deadlines and your emotional and being that go mom, all that stress load as
Mm,
well. And then you have your recovery is where everybody rebuilds. Okay, so and it's not just about sleep, it's being able to relax in and being able to downshift into modes where you know I'm not always go in transitions.
yeah.
Okay,
Decompression.
transitioning
Women
from
don't do that well. Women don't slow down
no,
very easily, especially
not at
moms.
all.
No way.
No,
Go, go, go.
exactly, exactly. You know, so your body just wants consistency. It craves consistency. And
Mhm.
whenever you are consistent, your body is happy. Okay. So that's why everything comes back to safety.
It is. It's like
Yeah.
when you feel consistent, your nervous system gets to calm down. And when your
Mm-hmm.
nervous system isn't feeling like it's fighting for its life because those four pillars, the fuel, the rhythm, your stress load, if you're actually recovering, it's not focused on that. So then it gets some space to look at intimacy and be open to intimacy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Um, you know, so believe it or not, your body is just uh it's just basically it's craving safety. Okay. And that's really the umbrella over all of these pillars. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, most women don't even realize they're under eating. They're
Mhm.
skipping breakfast, they're surviving on caffeine, eating tiny meals, avoiding carbs, constantly dieting, they're ignoring their hunger cues, but yet your body needs nourishment to create hormones, to regulate your mood, to stabilize your blood sugar, and to support your neurotransmitters, right? So
Yes.
if your body can't produce hormones properly, it doesn't feel safe and intimacy becomes difficult, right?
Yeah, it's the
So,
last thing on the list.
exactly. And that's just with fuel. When you get
Yeah.
into rhythm, because we were talking about the consistency,
Yeah.
your body craves that predictability. And skipping meals one day, eating randomly the next, like I was talking about, scrolling before bed, never transitioning out of work mode, mom mode, house mode, planner mode, you know, all those different jobs and hats that we as
Yes.
moms use every day and stay under, right? It
Yeah,
keeps your
when are you
nervous
taking it off?
system,
Yeah.
right. It just keeps your nervous system activated all day long.
Yeah,
And if you can't relax, sex becomes difficult. I mean, you know, your stress load is
absolutely.
massive and it's not just emotional stress. The under eating, the over exercising, the sleep deprivation, the sugar crashes, the inflammation, mental load, people pleasing, the
Oh, yeah.
financial pressure, and relationship strain all increase your cortisol. Okay. So
Mhm.
your stress load is massive
Yeah.
and that puts your body into survival mode. Survival mode isn't sexy by any stretch of the imagination.
You
you
know?
because you stop feeling playful, you stop
Yeah.
feeling sensual, and your body is too busy to survive to even want that, right?
Yeah, to slow down and say, "Oh, let's play. We have some time." So
Ye-
it's like, nervous system, when you're in that that fight or
mhm.
flight mode, that thing is you're running from a tiger. That came from our ancestors. And
Yeah,
why are you going to stop to have sex to reproduce? You're not.
exactly. That's why it shuts off your metabolism because It doesn't want you to actually digest anything because what happens when you go to the bathroom and you're getting chased by something, you're going to get eaten.
Yes, you don't have time to stop.
And that's what's going to happen. So, I mean, that's what it's made for. So it turns off your metabolism. It turns off any non-essential functions.
Mm,
Gone. Boom. Right? So your hormone production is gone. You
yeah,
know, your metabolism is gone. All of it. It just shuts it off. And that's what it's made to do. But it's doing that to protect you. So you can actually get away from the bear, right?
yeah. You can work with it.
Yeah, exactly. So whenever you have like your recovery, um, you want you have those, that's where your hormones are report paired, of course. Your That's where your energy is actually refilled into your body, into your cells. Your nervous system's repaired, your brain recovers and does its
Mhm.
dump for the day, your cellular healing takes place. All this happens during recovery. So when you're getting 5 hours of sleep and you're staying up scrolling, you're never slowing down, and you're constantly interrupted, and you're not getting into those deep stages of sleep, you wonder why your mood and your hormones and your energy and your sex drive suffer.
Yeah.
And then another thing I want to talk about is if you're in this state, I know y'all have all experienced that vaginal dryness. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Because they don't, I mean, women don't talk about it. Okay. But an estrogen change, whether from aging or whether it's from stress, or long periods of metabolic dysfunction, natural lubrication can decrease. So your body is literally making sex undesirable while it's in survival mode and making it where it hurts and you're not able to even lubricate yourself to get the desire to do it.
Our
So,
bodies are so intelligent. It's incredible.
right? Yeah, your body doesn't believe it has enough resources available and it's saying I'm not safe, so I don't want this. I certainly don't want to have a kid right now,
Yeah.
you know? So it deep, that prioritization is reproduction is out the window. Bye. No,
Not
and
important
it's
right now.
protecting you, right? Yeah. It's hard. It's hard being a woman.
It is. And
Yeah.
Misty, I can't tell you enough like how important those four pillars are. Did we cover all the four pillars?
We did.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I have never
Yeah.
had a conversation that was so easily explained to me in the most common sense way of metabolism and desire. And I have been doing this for so long. I have been in this field since 2013, and it
Oh
is
my
like,
gosh.
wow. Like that was a lot of mind-blowing aha moments for me that just makes so much sense on, I hope all my exhausted moms out there, like this is what you needed to hear so you can stop blaming yourself. So you can realize you're
Right.
not broken, but your nervous system is absolutely overwhelmed because your metabolism is a freaking shit show and you're not
Yeah.
recovering. And it's like
Right.
it's not your fault at all.
Yeah.
And you know
And it,
what's the best thing? You
yeah,
didn't even, here's the thing, you didn't even talk about improving desire by focusing on weight loss. And I think that is the biggest thing because that's not really what it's all
it's
about,
not
what a
what it
lot of
is.
people think it is.
Right. It's not. Um, I have had so many people that have lost weight, not any of my clients, but people that lost weight and none of their problems got better. They just became smaller versions of the same
Yes.
person. And that's not what I want for them, for my clients at all. Um, so whenever I was doing my metabolism healing,
Hmm.
I did actually lose a lot of weight. And then because I started gaining so much muscle, the weight number came back.
Goes up.
But
Yeah.
I was actually the same size. But you could tell by the clothes that I wear because I actually dropped 6 sizes. as
Wow.
far as that goes because of body recomposition. So, um, and then because things have gotten a little crazy since I've started going coaching full time and things like
Yeah.
that, that, I've noticed that some of my pillars are leaking. So I've been concentrating on them and going back to the basics. So I've had to actually back off on my training that I like to do and wish that I could do more. But I just knew that it was overextending. You know,
Mm.
I actually have a degree in exercise physiology, so I have the master's degree in my body's response to exercise. And
Mm.
it wasn't until I learned about metabolism that I could actually take what I learned in school and take my degree and say,
Yeah.
oh my God, what the hell have I been doing for
Yeah,
40
now it
years?
makes sense, right?
Right?
And a healthy
Yes.
metabolism does not equal a certain weight, which is, I think, the
No.
biggest thing. It's it's just a happy, good version of you, and it doesn't have
Yes.
a weight or a number on a scale.
No. And let me tell you, I have been happier than I have ever been now that I can function. Whenever I started my journey, I was working out like I was supposed to. I was taking I was doing jazzercise classes and I was working out at home so I was over exercising.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was constantly in those different diets that the doctors were giving me because I was seeing five specialists.
Wow.
Five. Yes, I had a stomach doctor, I had an ear, nose, and throat doctor, I had a lung doctor, a cardiologist, and then my general female doctor.
So
Um,
you're searching for what is a missing piece here.
right. And
Yeah.
then they send me to an HRT doctor. And I'm
Mhm.
like, what the heck is going on? I am 37 years old. I'm 38
Yeah.
years old. This is not right.
Yeah.
Something is not right. And it was rough. And then it turns out that I, whenever I started looking into this metabolism and realizing that my body did not feel safe, my stress, my cortisol was through the roof. My,
Mm.
I was eating, I was eating around 1,200 calories a day, which is typical for a dieting phase, with
Okay.
your exercise. Okay.
Yeah.
And I put those in quotation marks because I don't even do that with my women at all.
Good. Good, because
Um,
I'm like, I don't even know what the daily recommended anything.
okay.
I'm just over here winging it,
Most,
but yeah.
most, most women eat somewhere in the 12 to 1800 now,
Mm.
1800. And that's all the time. Daily calorie basis is based on a lot of different factors. Okay. But I actually, I'm at the point where, like I said, whenever I dropped 6 sizes, I
Mm.
was eating 2,200 calories a day. I went
See?
from
Wow.
1,200 to 22. That's an additional 1,000 calories a day. And I was burning enough that I was actually burning fat. I was actually putting on muscle. I was actually recovering.
Yeah.
And I was I ended up, thankfully, by the time I turned 41, so this was when I was 37, 38.
Yeah.
By the time I turned 31, I had actually been released from all my doctors.
Wow.
I went off all of my medications, no more acid reflux, no more IBS, no more exercise induced asthma,
Yeah.
um, no more heart. Well, with my heart, I had a just a fast heart rate all the time.
Interesting.
Believe it or not, that is actually a sign of metabolism dysfunction.
Ooh,
Nobody
good to
knew it.
know.
Nobody knew it. and
Wow.
it didn't make sense. So
Yeah.
we I have a bad family history of heart disease. So
Yeah.
we were just watching it as because, I
Because of that.
because of that. I had
Yeah.
lost a parent when he was 33, had a massive heart
So
attack
sorry for
actually.
your loss.
Yeah. It was a long time ago, and whenever I hit 33 and I was like, oh my God, how much longer do I have,
Yeah.
And I hadn't had
Understandably.
kids yet. I hadn't found my partner. I haven't
Yeah.
done any of that yet. I felt like I hadn't even lived yet. So I couldn't imagine what it was like for him, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, he was so young, you know? And
Absolutely.
goodness. So you have all these different things going on, and you're like, I don't understand what's going on. Um, so I had my right after this 37, 38. So I had my son late in life.
Yeah.
I had to do an IUI.
Okay.
Um, so I did the treatments, did an IUI, and had him. And in 2020, he was a COVID baby, y'all. Oh yeah, COVID and a hurricane in the same week as I gave birth. Yes,
Oh my
let me tell
goodness.
you, it was whew, yeah. So after he was born, I was having blood sugar problems, and they were talking
Hmm.
about sending me to start getting me on blood on diabetes
Glucose?
medications.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So saying I was a diabetic, but I literally underate and basically put myself in such a bad metabolic position that I put myself into diabetes.
Yeah.
Uh, but none of that is a problem now. Thank
And
God.
that's the thing. It's like this journey has made you go searching in all of the places, right? Not all the greatest places, but what a lot of people expect to go do, where they expect to find the answers. And
Right.
then, you're finding out that, whoa, okay, everything just clicks. And Misty, I can't thank you enough for just putting this into such easy, understandable language, and it just actually makes sense for once, honestly. And I love that this conversation reminds us that our bodies are so intelligent, and maybe before we decide we're broken, we get curious instead. And this is such
Yes.
a huge call out to how important metabolism, stress, recovery, the stress loads you're carrying around, your nervous system regulation. And it's like we're both, saying the same thing of that, like, you're not broken, through what we do, which
Mm-hmm.
is a really beautiful message to put out in the world. And I thank you so much for all of this information. This was an absolute treat, seriously.
Wonderful. I'm so glad. I loved being here and I loved, like I said, to share this information with you. And I hope that this just touches one lady and that she's able to say, you know what? Yeah, maybe I need to ask more questions and
Yeah.
not just let them tell me this. Maybe I need to ask more questions. If it
Yeah.
makes one person more curious, then I'm happy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we will put all of your info down in the show notes so you can get a link to all of the goodness to stay in Misty's world, to be able to, ask these questions. That's, one thing I want this week for you, ask maybe one question that can help you understand, is this my metabolism, or is it all these other things that I, think it really is, those myths that we fall for. And Misty, one more thing before we go, because I ask everybody on my podcast is, what was sex ed like for you when you were growing up? What was that like?
Okay. So I have kind of an interesting story for you.
Yes.
So like most people, my parents didn't really talk much about sex, but
Okay.
my parents were really young. Ooh, are you still there?
Oh, I am. Sorry, did it go away?
Okay. Yeah, my
Okay,
screen went
good.
away, but I'm okay. Okay, good. I'm still there. I was like, whoa, where did my screen go? Okay.
Sorry about
But
that.
I know it wasn't your fault. My fault. My screen popped up with something. So I learned the basics in school, and it wasn't really a much conversation beyond that.
Yeah.
Yet, I was the one that, my favorite movie when I was 5 years old was Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just throw that out there, So I saw and I knew some stuff on the time, but the real conversation actually happened when I was in seventh grade.
Okay.
And so I had an older, it's cousin. My stepdad and his stepdad were best friends,
Got
and
it.
he took care of me while my parents were at work. He was my babysitter,
Okay.
and he chauffeured me to my sports. So he had access to my parents' spare car, so he could take me where I needed to go, things like that. So he sat me down on the porch swing in freaking winter. Granted, winter in, Mississippi, y'all, is not the same as like winter in Canada or up north. But, whenever you're, 13 ish, maybe 12, 13 ish, and sitting outside with shorts and a tank top in November or December, it's kind of cold outside, right? And we talked for hours. Okay. He didn't sugarcoat shit. I'm telling y'all right now, he did not sugarcoat anything. And he told me how boys could be, what they might say, what they might do to get sex. He just broke it down and he told me that it might hurt the first time. He told me that with the right person, someone that you could trust, respect, and truly love, it could be one of the most incredible experiences you'll ever have.
Yeah.
And, he was graphic and he was truthful, but he was trying to protect me and prepare me for life.
Mm.
He sent me into the world with a pack of condoms and, one message that actually had stayed with me for my entire life, and that I was the prize and not to
Whew.
settle for someone that treats me that way. And
Yeah.
I honestly wish that more girls were taught that.
Mm.
And, we teach anatomy, we teach pregnancy prevention, and that, but we don't teach the self-worth, and that conversation and what safety feels like really needs to be taught, you know
Absolutely.
um and I think that's probably, that conversation is a reflection of why I'm still single, and also a reflection of why I actually, as another one of my cousin calls it, I have a Sears catalog baby. Because I actually, I got, he is a sperm bank baby that I did an
Yeah.
IUI with when I was late in life, because I
Mhm.
hadn't met the person that I wanted to be with,
Yeah.
because nobody held up to the standards of treating me the way that I would treat them and the way I was expected to be treated by
Yeah.
this conversation that I had when I was a seventh grade little girl
Yeah.
by an
Wow.
older cousin.
Wow.
Right. And yeah, so I think if women understood their worth earlier, they'd settle a lot less for the nonsense and have healthier relationships, both with sex and themselves.
Absolutely. And I mean, your
Yeah.
entire story is a story of self-love, repeatedly. And it's
Yeah.
just it's beautiful. And it is that sex education that we get is more abstinence and like reproductive STDs and like shame,
Hmm.
shame, shame, no
Yeah.
pleasure, no communication, no relationship dynamics, no
Yep.
preparing, which I think is
Yep.
the biggest thing, the real talk. And we'll see We'll see in the future how this goes, but I really appreciate your story and your input because I just that's what we're trying to do, by maybe having somebody who is a parent, they get to listen to this, my podcast and these conversations. I hope that they can normalize sex so they don't, receive no sex ed from the people that you're supposed to, right? But maybe get it from somewhere else,
Right.
sometimes not accurate too. So it's just, thank you again so much for everything today, Misty. I am so, so thrilled to have had you.
Well, thank you. I have enjoyed this so much, and I just can't wait to hear it on your podcast.
You
The
too.
link that you're going to have, ladies, is a newsletter that I put out every week. And at the end of the sign up sheet, you actually can join my free Facebook group that I do free training in every other week. So y'all choose the topics, and then I teach on what topics y'all choose on the in between weeks. So I can't wait, and I hope to see some of y'all there. And Lauren, this has been such a wonderful experience, and I am so blessed to have met you and found you. So we could do this together because y'all, Lauren's going to be on my podcast on July, I believe it is going to be the 20th. Let me check my date here. I know it's a Monday. I'm just terrible with dates, y'all. I'm so sorry.
Don't be
So,
sorry.
yeah, yes, July 20th. Her episode is going to drop on my podcast, Energy for Exhausted Moms. So I hope y'all turn in to listen to Laura on that. And I'm so grateful to have been here. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you. And just you brought so much value. All right, my friends, until next time, we will see ya.